You managed Don Jazzy.
D'banj and Don Jazzy.
You managed D'banj as well.
Yeah, actually. Okay, so the whole thing with D'banj and Don Jazzy was not incidental, but it was kind of like, because I knew Jazzy first. I knew Michael, that's his name, Michael. I've always known him as Michael E for a long time before he started calling himself Don Jazzy. His full name back then, his full nickname was Sexy. He used to put sexy in front of it. Sexy Don Jazzy.
How did you discover them?
Okay, yeah. So I didn't discover them.
Okay.
JJC introduced Don Jazzy as his producer. And the funny thing was, D'banj was there as well, but he wasn't part of the group then. He was in the crowd. He was in the crowd hyping them up. Like basically waiting for his opportunity to join the group.
That's crazy.
And become, yeah. D'banj had introduced himself to me. Because D'banj is very smart. That boy, like he had a plan when he was coming from,
what he wanted to do.
Yeah. So he recognized who was who. DJ Abbas, Ayo Shonaiya, even Solek, JJ's, he knew who would get him to where he wanted. So he introduced himself to me and I, yeah. And I remember he introduced himself by saying, oh, yeah, Rugged Man is my friend. So that he knows that I know Rugged Man. He's another very important person in the industry, Rugged Man. By October, I had brought Tribesmen and Tetula to do the show for the Independence show. So the Independence show happened on October the 3rd. And of course, I got them like a 6 months visa. But the thing is, they only just stayed for another couple of weeks before they went back. They were even living in my house. So I said, okay, you know what? Let me take you guys to JJC's studio. And let's see if we can
cook up something.
Mash up, do something. And then we did. But by the time we got to JJC's studio in Borough, JJC is like JJC is another guy that, how should I, he's a leader of men.
Shout out to him.
JJC Abdul, like much respect.
Yeah.
He had some money because, like JJC was a millionaire.
Already?
In pounds. Yeah, at that time. So he had a whole building. He had a whole building with studio, office downstairs, studio, living quarters, Anyway, so they played me the song and I pulled LD aside. I'm like, who produced? Me, I'm a lawyer. I'm thinking splits, who produced and everything. He said, well, I kind of like me and JJC and that Michael guy. That was Don Jazzy.
See, that Michael guy.
Yeah, everybody still called him Michael then, even though he had started calling himself Don Jazzy. So he said, okay, I did some parts, JJC did some part, but that Michael guy finished it off. Like, it was really good. I'm like, okay, so 3 days before the concert, we had arrived from Nigeria. I went to Nigeria to bring Idris Abdulkarim and Maintain for the show. The day that I arrived, Jazzy called me and he said he wanted me to look at the contract that JJC had given them, that he wasn't sure if he should sign this thing, I didn't even see the contract because I said to him, after the show, that's when I'll have time to look at the contract. But at the show, JJC had, sanctioned and, like,
you better sign.
If you guys are not signing, you're not performing with us. On that night, this is what I mean by God put me in a place, well, not just me and DJ Abbas. Idris was being a diva. The same Idris Abdulkarim has been a diva. He's my guy. He's my guy. He's my bro. But at that time, he was being a diva. He said he didn't come for sound check. He didn't come for anything. He was like, just come and get me when I'm about to go on stage. I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, me, I love Idris. Like, he was like our Burna Boy then. So I had gone to pick up Idris in the hotel to bring him back. And I was coming back with him. I put Idris in his dressing room. And Abbas was now telling me that something had happened between JJC and his crew. Like, D'banj and Don Jazzy had come to him, DJ Abbas, that they wanted to perform separately on their own. And I'm like, why are we performing But then again, Abbas is the one that runs the show. Is the one that knows who's going on next.
Yeah, the timing and all that.
Yeah, and I said,
the flow.
Exactly, the flow. So I said, well, if you can accommodate them, we put them in, and they were standing right there. They were just waiting for us to say, yeah. So it's like, okay, one song. One song became two. He went on, he performed with Queen. I don't know if you know Queen Olokala.
Mm-hmm.
They did a song, I think it was Don't Ask Me, I don't, what thing I go do for you. They did that song. Everybody kind of like enjoyed it. And then Queen walked off. And then the band kind of like stayed on stage. And I'm thinking, we only gave these guys one song. But Jazzy had kicked in Mobolo Wowo.
Obesi.
The band performed Mobolo Wowo to a crowd. Nobody has ever heard the song before. Unless you've gone to their show. But he performed Mobolo Wowo alone on the stage.
With the mouth organ and everything.
With the mouth organ. There's a little mouth organ solo in that song. When it was going Mobolo Wowo. And then it just went, Emitija.
What's the law?
That was that. Trust me, at that point, I knew this is a superstar right there. He had the crowd eating out of his hands. When he did that, and then he went, in fact, I have a picture of it, when he just raised his hand like, Emitija. People were singing along to a song they've never heard before. That was how much he controlled the crowd. So when he performed the song, apparently before he performed, somebody has said, who is this? Who be here?
Normal level.
Yeah.
Nigerians, they will say,
he picked out that
stage.
person in the crowd. They say, and for you that are saying you don't know the band, now you know the band.
Welcome to another wonderful episode of Link Up on Echooroom, where conversations echo beyond the surface. I remain your host, Teddy A. You know what it is. Today, I have a wonderful guest. Trust me, guys. This is one of Afrobeats' foremost pace setters in management, film, music, production. This man has seen it all. His name is Ayo Shonaiya. In 2021, this man created a documentary which aired on Netflix about Afrobeat. I'm sure you saw that. So, like I said, with me today, I have the one, the only Mr. Ayo Shonaiya. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Wow, it took a lot of festival and celebration to get you on this show, because first of all, you've never been on any podcast.
No, this is my first.
Never spoken anywhere.
Nope. You guys are disvirgin me today.
No pun intended.
Sorry. Okay, so is that how we start?
Let's go. Let's go.
We set the tone.
Let's go.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Mr. Ayo, how's life been?
Oh, just call me Ayo.
Okay.
Yeah, people call me Mr. Ayo, Uncle Ayo.
You don't want to feel...
My name is Ayo Shonaiya. So if you don't want to just call me Ayo, if you feel it's like disrespectful,
I'll call you Big Bro.
Just call me
Big Bro. I'm sorry. I'm humble like that.
Yeah,
Big
but
Bro.
Don't put Uncle or Mr.
Okay.
It's too formal.
Okay, so Big Bro.
Okay.
Take me back to the beginning, because you've managed people like The Banj, Akon, Wasiu. I mean, how did this whole, thing come about?
Okay, so my journey into music, I always tell people is by, excuse me, my journey into music was accidental. And I think maybe God just put me in the right place at the right time. Because I met Wasiu, K1 the Ultimate. I mean, I call him Wasiu, not disrespectful. But, just like I was saying, you call me Ayo.
Yes.
People just say Wasiu, the most famous Wasiu in the world. So I met Wasiu in London at a time when he was, he had come off a tour in 98 in America.
Right.
And then he was basically living in England because he was married in England.
Wow.
And because he was, not to put out too much of his business.
Yes.
Because of some things that he was applying for, he had to basically just stay in the country for a long time while they're processing.
Right.
So, and then things started happening in Nigeria. He had a manager in Nigeria. Well, he was longest serving manager. His name is Percy Ademokun. So he had a manager in Nigeria who was fielding all these different rumors about, he's in jail. They caught him at all these rumors. So what they did was they wanted him to do a telephone interview. Okay. With a bunch of press and media people in Nigeria.
Okay.
So he did that. He spoke to them. It's like, I'm fine here. I'm just chilling. No cause for alarm, everything. And then after he did that, some people were saying, well, even if he was in jail, they would, they have telephones there now. So the whole thing was kind of like, so a friend of mine in England called Jimmy, the bald-headed guy, his name is Jimmy Akini, very important guy in my life and in my career. It's a friend of mine. He said, why don't we do like a little bit of a documentary, do video and send to Lagos? You understand? So I thought, okay, no problem. I mean, Wasiuni, let's do that. So we did the documentary. We're kind of like walking on the streets, trying to do the opposite of what they did on the phone. Walking on the street, meeting people, so that people can see that, Wasiu
real life
just chilling in London.
experiences,
Exactly. So we did that. It was okay. And Jimmy now said, well, while you're here, let's start something called Kwam's Kitchen.
Kitchen.
It's like a weekly show every Sunday where they call it Kwam's Kitchen, where we prepare good music, like in the kitchen. So I thought, okay, we'll film that one too and then make a series out of it. And, so it was during the time when we were preparing for Kwam's Kitchen. I mean, I'd become close to Wasiu. I was in his house. He had a house in London. And then I heard him talk to his wife then about the process that they were going through. And me being a lawyer, I just kind of like, it's none of my business, but I overheard something that I knew wasn't true. You understand? So I said, well, technically, you don't really have to stay in this country,
Right.
Like, you're an international
Like why
artist.
you don't have to sit here.
Yeah, it's like the one thing the British government don't want is for you to become like, what do they call them? You live off the state. You understand? They don't want you to sit around. They want you to work. And your work happens to be touring because you're an artist. And I said, well, like, I know I can speak to them and, get you your passport. And, you can travel again. So you don't really have to be sitting around.
Yeah.
And he said, well, the lawyer said, I'm like, I don't know, lawyer is lawyer, but me, I'm not an immigration lawyer, but at least I know this for a fact. So he said, okay, try it now. And I'm like, okay, give me your details, blah, blah, blah. And I made some calls and I called him back and I said, well, we can go and get your passport. And, I've spoken to them. He said, oh, sure. I'm like, yeah. Anyway, long story short, we got the passport. This was in 1999. I remember it was May 1999 because the new government in Nigeria was May 29 was like the what's it called, the Democracy Day or whatever, the change of government. So Obasanjo, So I said, he said to me like, well, I've already told them in Nigeria that I might be traveling and touring soon. In fact, the fax back in the days of fax, the fax came to my house. You understand? From PDP, Obasanjo, inviting Wasiu to come and perform at his inauguration. And that was it. We didn't actually make the inauguration last, but at least we got his passport out. And the next thing he said to me was, you're going to become my manager then, since you're the one that sorted this thing out. I'm like, Fuji manager, like, me, I'm a filmmaker. My area of study is film, law, and later on psychology. But at that time it was film and law. And I said, well, me, I'm not, spoke to my wife, spoke to my mom. I said, Wasiu wants me to be his manager.
What did they think?
My mom was like, I don't know. I mean, they love Wasiu's music and everything, but for me,
the lifestyle.
Omoni Fuji type of thing. And for me, I was at a time in my life where, I was still a lawyer, but I was doing more film and I thought, okay, this is like an adventure. So I said to him, look, if I'm going to be your manager, I'm going to be filming everything we're doing because I'm filming my career. He said, fine,
smart.
Let's do it. And that's how we kicked off. I gave him a contract, 2 years. I ended up spending 4.5 years, almost 5 years.
Because you were enjoying it.
The adventure was, we went around the world 4 times.
Making money.
Yeah, making money. There's a lot of stuff that happened during that time as well. Fuji is a little bit
crazy.
Yeah, crazy. Coming to Nigeria, all that kind of stuff. So that's how I became a music guy. I was just going to do 2 years. I ended up 20 years in music, starting with King Wasiu Ayinde.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy that you mentioned 20 years because a lot of people don't even understand how deeply rooted you are in Afrobeat. Like you're one of the real gatekeepers.
Well, I don't like the word gatekeeper, though.
Okay, so what would you consider yourself to be?
I'm just, I don't know. I'm
pillar?
I'm just a guy.
You're a pillar. me, I will call you pillar.
And you
whether
will
you
be-
take
and you
it or
will be
not.
post.
Yeah,
From pillar to post.
pillar to post.
But
You know?
I wouldn't say, I don't like all that kind of tag. It's like, I didn't invent Afrobeats. I didn't come up with the name. I'm not an artist. Like I said, I just happen to be at the right place at the right time for all the artists that I worked with. So, but I mean, I know what you are trying to get at.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
if we're going to tell the real story of Afrobeats, those of us that we know the real story of Afrobeats, we know Reach 7.
So, speaking of that,
Yeah.
tell us how this, because right now we're seeing how Afrobeat right now has become, a great export for the continent.
Absolutely, export, yeah.
We see how people abroad love what we do. They love our sound. They love the music. They love the culture.
They love the culture, they love the food.
Yes, they love how colorful we are.
Love the
and
fashion.
I remember back in the day, it wasn't cool to be African.
Oh, no, definitely. You see, that's a good point because I was living in England at the time. And a lot of the Nigerians, excuse me, Nigerians that come from Nigeria, you can tell they're Nigerians.
Exactly.
But the children of Nigerians that have been living
Immigrants,
in England,
yeah.
they don't like to identify with Nigerian. They call it Af.
Yes.
My children will say like, so you're being really Af. Which means you're being African.
An African booty scratcher.
Yeah, and then some of them to the extent where when they go to school, they'll be speaking like Jamaicans.
Yeah,
they'll be more,
they
Jamaican
want to be
just to assimilate.
feel among.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It was
yes.
It was until we started putting the culture out on television. The whole Afrobeats movement started on television in England, and it started with my show. I created the first. Well, we hadn't coined Afrobeats then, but I created the first African music television show in the whole of Europe.
What was that called?
It's called Intro. As in like intro. I want to introduce you to my culture or my music. So in 2003, I mean, I know we're jumping forward with Wasiu now. In 2003, a friend of mine called me up and said he has a TV license. And he has just registered and started the TV station called Ben Television, Bright Entertainment.
Ben TV.
Yeah, Ben TV.
Yes.
So I was the guy that he gave me Ben TV to basically just fill up 24 hours.
That's crazy.
And the easiest thing for me to do was just to get music videos and just be playing music videos back to back.
Just upload content.
Yeah, before we even started making programs. So the first music video that I ever played on British TV is You Don't Eat My Car by Tony Tetwila. So I would just go to Nigeria, get music videos, put it on TV, and then I started the TV show called Intro with my partner, DJ Abbas, as the presenter.
DJ Abbas, okay.
And that was it. Really, that was how the whole Afrobeats movement started in the UK. The UK is the first step of globalization of Afrobeats. We've been doing everything we're doing in Nigeria, but when we started the program and we started pushing the culture, especially to our kids, as in like children of Nigerians who were not
to accept
who
they are.
Yeah, because
accept our culture.
When we started playing the music videos, You Don't Eat My Car, and then we now brought a lot more videos.
P
and then
Square,
we
Star
started,
Plus.
Yeah, this one was even like a couple of, I'm talking Tribesmen.
Tribesmen.
Yeah, because during the time when I was managing Wasiu, I had met the Tribesmen and I kind of like started managing them kind of like on the side before I became like their full-time manager. So on Intro, the program, the first music video to be played on Intro, the program, is Plenty Nonsense by Tribesmen, because I directed that video.
That's crazy.
You get it, plenty things.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So this just lets you know that, this man has been in the game from way back before Afrobeats became what it is today. Now,
before we even coined the name
Afrobeat, right?
Yes.
I think then what was it called? What?
Well, we used to call it
Afropop.
Afropop did not last like that. We used to call it Afro hip hop. Don't forget, this whole Afrobeats that we're enjoying now started from, how shall I put this? Not only hip hop music, but hip hop culture.
Culture, okay.
You understand? The culture influenced the music more than the music
the
did.
Tetwilas, the way they dress,
the way
and
they
the remedy
dress,
and the
way
likes,
they swag, Idris, everything.
Plantation Boys. True.
Yeah, that's the trinity of Afrobeats. Remedies, Plantation Boys, Tribesmen.
True. I remember at the time, when I was still, living abroad in America.
Oh, where did you live? You live in America?
Dallas, yes, Texas.
Oh, Dallas. Oh,
yeah.
cool.
Americans didn't really like Afrobeat. Even the Africans that were in America, they were like, "What is this?"
By the time we moved the movement, moved the movement. By the time we took the movement to America, the only thing that was happening in America then was the Nigerian reunion. Do you know about the Nigerian reunion, NRC?
NRC, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
NRC.
Then it became NEA or something like that.
Oh, no. They're two different things.
Okay.
NRC is the reunion. NEA is the awards.
The award.
NEA is Nigerian Entertainment Award. NRC is Nigerian Reunion Corporation. So NRC started before NEA. NEA started in 2006. NRC started in, I think, 2002. I think. It's been around. We've been to NRC before NEA started. NEA started in 2006. I remember in Maryland. So I was there as well. Yeah.
And so at the time, Americans didn't really like Afrobeat, and for me, it was a thing of you need to go back to Nigeria. Look at what is happening in the UK. Those guys in the UK, they love our music.
Oh yeah.
And Tiwa Savage had to go back. And then it takes me to the next thing right now. You managed Don Jazzy.
D'banj and Don Jazzy.
You managed D'banj as well.
Yeah, actually. Okay, so the whole thing with D'banj and Don Jazzy was not incidental, but it was kind of like, because I knew Jazzy first. I knew Michael, that's his name, Michael. I knew...
First names.
Yeah, but the thing is, when he was with Solek Crew, Don
Solek
Jazzy
Crew,
used to be
still
with
playing.
Solek Crew. Yeah, exactly. So Soji will be on the keyboard. Don Jazzy will be on the keyboard just doing the ten, 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 ten. But Don Jazzy was the one really cooking the beats. And then, so there was two Michaels and Soji. So there was Soji. Michael is Michael E. That his name is Michael Enebeli. And Michael O. So there were two Michaels. So the three-man group was Solek, Michael, and Michael. So I've always known him as Michael E for a long time before he started calling himself Don Jazzy. His full name back then, his full nickname was Sexy. He used to put sexy in front of it. Sexy Don Jazzy. Like, he dropped the sexy after a while, but he used to be Sexy Don Jazzy.
Don Jazzy, sorry to say how they laugh. No way.
Oh no, these are my.
So how did you discover them?
Okay, yeah. So I didn't discover them.
Okay.
So what happened was, in 2003, when I brought Tribesmen and Tony Tetuila to the UK to do a concert, which was the first, by the way, it's first time any Afro hip hop, Afro pop, or whatever gone to the, so I have a lot of firsts. So, and I'll be dropping it.
Now I see Pillar now.
Intermittently. So basically, we did a show on the 5th of July, 2003. Because we had started Intro, the program, in April. So we've been playing music videos, we're doing interviews, we've even gone live, we're taking calls, we were getting popular. So my partner, DJ Abbas, said, we should be doing spin-offs. So, like, Abbas is a DJ, he performs at clubs and stuff like that. So let's do something. Since we have media, we can just put advertise, So we did a show on the 5th of July, 2003. That was the first time that we invited everybody, JJC, 419, the whole crew, Solek, Lalale Friday, Wale Thompson, Felix Duke, Paul Dairo, like everybody that was in London, we just invited
Doing
them.
something in London.
Yeah, exactly. So we had a show, 2 floors. The ground floor was the regular club, upstairs was the performance. So that was the first time. I didn't even know that Jazzy had left Solek. That was the night I found out. And he had left Solek to go join JJC. So on that day, Solek performed first with Solek, Michael O, and another guy who had replaced Don Jazzy. And then JJC introduced Don Jazzy as his producer at that show. But they had done a song called 50 Kobo. So 50 Kobo is like play on 50 cents. Dun, 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 dun,
Right, 50 Kobo, 50
dun,
cents.
dun. Yeah, so they, money. So it was like the beat of
In the
it's
club.
your birthday. Yeah, exactly. So that day, people saw what would later become Afrobeats, because it sounded like 50 Cent, but they were singing Yoruba lyrics mixed with pidgin and all of that. You know, that day, I believe, was the birth date of Afrobeats in the UK. Because when they finished performing with 419 and every, you know, and the funny thing was, D'banj was there as well, but he wasn't part of the group then. He was in the crowd. He was in the crowd hyping them up. Like basically waiting for his opportunity to join the group.
That's crazy.
And become, yeah. Oh, the crazy part of this whole thing is I have everything on video. I have everything on video.
Why didn't you add that to the documentary that...
Oh, no. I was doing the second season, so that will have been in the second season. That will be in the second season.
Okay.
You understand? Because the story I wanted to tell and the narrative of the first one was different. I wanted to talk about the real OGs.
The emergence
of the
genre.
Yeah, so the second season will be more about the music and how everybody connected. Anyway, back to the story. That night was such a magical night because the London crowd got a feel of what they were doing in Nigeria.
A slice of what was happening in Lagos.
Yeah, like real time, right in front of them.
Yeah.
Like this is the stage. The crowd was right here. Like JJC was performing and the crowd was like right in front of him. You know, it was that kind of show. Anyway, so later on, D'banj had introduced himself to me. Because D'banj is very smart. That boy, like he had a plan when he was coming from, you know,
what he wanted to do.
Yeah. So he recognized who was who. You know, DJ Abbas, Ayo Shonaiya, even Solek, you know, JJ's, you know, he knew who would get him to where he wanted. So he introduced himself to me and I, you know, like, yeah. And I remember he introduced himself by saying, oh, yeah, Rugged Man is my friend. So that he knows that I know Rugged Man. He's another very important person in the industry, Rugged Man. So I was like, oh yeah, Rugged Man, yeah. And okay, say you want gist, Abby, you want droplets.
Let's go.
So I don't know if you remember Rugged Man's Why you they rap like Mumu? Why you they copy? Do you remember the people that Rugged Man dissed on the song? Obviously, Idris, yes. Maintain. Rasky. Do you know remember Rasky?
Yes.
So if you remember the video when he was like, Rasky is a Ras kid, you know, and then Normalos, God bless his soul, was carrying the Omolanke, and then they picked up Rasky, the fake Rasky that was dancing that they threw in Omolanke. That was D'banj.
Oh.
He told me that.
Wow. That's crazy.
And I remember that so clearly because I remember the video. I'm like, oh, okay. So I kind of like marked him down. Anyway, so that was what? April? Not April. That was July. By October, I had brought Tribesmen and Tetula to do the show for the Independence show. So the Independence show happened on October the 3rd. And of course, you know, I got them like a 6 months visa. But the thing is, they only just stayed for another couple of weeks before they went back. They were even living in my house. So I said, okay, you know what? Let me take you guys to JJC's studio and let's see if we can mash up, do something. And then we did. But by the time we got to JJC's studio in Borough, you know, JJC is like JJC is another guy that, how should I, he's the leader of men.
Shout out to him.
JJC Abdul, like much respect.
Yeah.
He had some money because, you know, like JJC was a millionaire.
Already?
In pounds. Yeah, at that time. So he had a whole building. The studio, office downstairs, studio, living quarters, you know, like
was that
everybody.
From his
deal with Sony Music?
Yeah. It's a big show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I took them there and then we were in the studio and Jazzy was there. I have all this on video as well. Jazzy was there. In fact, that was the first time I talked to him about what happened with Solek and, you know, he said something. Anyway, so they were there to the point where everything was going well. And I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to leave you guys and come back for you tomorrow. So I left them Tribesmen there. So I went back in the morning to pick them up. Everybody was tired and everything, but they had made 2 songs. So I said, okay, play me the song. So they played me a song called Mi Onigba. And then the other one, I'm trying to, mi ò nígbà o, wọ́n fẹ́ gbọmọ lọ́wọ́ mi, mi ò nígbà o. And the song was so good. And then I've forgotten the title of the second one. Anyway, so they played me the song and I pulled LD aside. I'm like, who produced? Me, I'm a lawyer. I'm thinking splits, who produced and everything. He said, well, I kind of like me and JJC and that Michael guy. That was Don Jazzy.
See, that Michael guy.
Yeah, everybody still called him Michael then, even though he had started calling himself Don Jazzy. So he said, okay, I did some parts, JJC did some part, but that Michael guy finished it off. Like, it was really good. I'm like, okay, so we will know how to do the splits. So I'd known Jazzy before I met D'banj. On that day that I went there the second time, D'banj came as well. So I met him again. And that was when he started talking to me about this is what he had joined the band then. He had joined the group. So he was telling me about what he wanted to do, like, this was all about him. It wasn't like a duo like D'banj, Don Jazzy. It was just him.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. He said, well, they come in. And, he had me in the plan. And I was like, yeah. You know how people say things, and I'm like, yeah. Because I hadn't seen him perform or sing.
So you didn't see the bigger picture?
Yeah, I just thought, good-looking guy. He looks, D'banj was very, very energetic. He'd be like, baba, he's very giddy like that. So we kept it like that until the year after, which was 2004. And he had been traveling with them. He had been touring with them, the whole group and everything. And then we had the same show, October 2004. And then something happened backstage where JJC had pretty much kicked D'banj and Don Jazzy out of the group if they were not going to sign a contract. Okay, so let me take it back a little bit. 3 days before the concert, we had arrived from Nigeria. I went to Nigeria to bring Idris Abdulkarim and Maintain for the show. The day that I arrived, Jazzy called me and he said he wanted me to look at the contract that JJC had given them, that he wasn't sure if he should sign this thing, I didn't even see the contract because I said to him, after the show, that's when I'll have time to look at the contract. But at the show, JJC had, sanctioned and, like,
you better sign.
If you guys are not signing, you're not performing with us. On that night, this is what I mean by God put me in a place, well, not just me and DJ Abbas. Idris was being a diva. The same Idris Abdulkarim, he has been a diva he's my guy, it's my bro. But at that time, he was being a diva. He said he didn't come for sound check, he didn't come for anything. He was like, just come and get me when I'm about to go on stage. I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, me, I love Idris. Like, he was like our Burna Boy then. So I had gone to pick up Idris in the hotel to bring him back. And I was coming back with him. I put Idris in his dressing room. And Abbas was now telling me that something had happened between JJC and his crew. Like, D'banj and Don Jazzy had come to him, DJ Abbas, that they wanted to perform separately on their own. And I'm like, why are we performing But then again, Abbas is the one that runs the show. Is the one that knows who's going on next.
Yeah, the timing and all that.
Yeah, and I said,
flow.
The flow. So I said, well, if you can accommodate them, we put them in, and they were standing right there. They were just waiting for us to say, yeah. So it's like, okay, one song. One song became two. He went on, he performed with Queen. I don't know if you know Queen Olokala. They did a song, I think it was Don't Ask Me, I don't, what thing I go do for you. They did that song. Everybody kind of like enjoyed it. And then Queen walked off. And then D'banj kind of like stayed on stage. And I'm thinking, we only gave these guys one song. But Jazzy had kicked in Mobolo Wonwo.
Obesi.
D'banj performed Mobolo Wonwo to a crowd. Nobody has ever heard the song before. Unless you've gone to their show. But he performed Mobolo Wonwo alone on the stage.
With the mouth organ and everything.
With the mouth organ. There's a little mouth organ solo in that song. When it was going Mobolo Wonwo. And then it just went Emi Tija.
What's the law?
That was that. Trust me, at that point, I knew this is a superstar right there. He had the crowd eating out of his hands. When he did that, and then he went, in fact, I have a picture of it, when he just raised his hand like, Emi Tija. People were singing along to a song they've never heard before. That was how much he controlled the crowd. So when he performed the song, apparently before he performed, somebody has said, who is this? Who be
Normal level.
Yeah.
Nigerians, they will say,
he picked out that person in the crowd. They say, and for you that's saying you don't know the band, now you know the band. And I'm like, okay, this nigga has balls.
It's called character.
As he was coming off the stage, I was on the side stage. I looked at him like that. He was, the band, when he was humble. The band will be greeting you, will be like, Baba,
Baba.
Yeah. He came up and he was kind of like bending, and I kind of like just patted him on the back, like, yeah, I can, I can fuck with you now. Like, oh, sorry.
We're not go ahead. Do your thing.
Sorry.
I mean, it's a grown podcast.
Okay. And I tapped him on even at that time, of course, I said that in the moment, but a few weeks passed before we actually got together to do some work. So back to your original question, I knew Jazzy first, but it was the band that drew me in. So when we said, okay, yeah, we're gonna do this, they were in the process of finishing off the album No Long Thing. And the day they finished it, Cass.
Yes, Cass.
Cass familiar.
Yes.
Because they are no longer with JJC, so they finished the album at Cass's house, Cass's studio, which also doubles as his bedroom in his house. And they finished it. The day they finished and they mastered the CD or whatever it is, they brought it to me in my house in North London, and they played me the whole album. And I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go.
That's where Why Me was on there and all?
Oh, no. Why Me was
later.
This was No Long Thing.
No Long Thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Was on it. Ikauda. And they had about 8 songs or something. And that's how we kicked off.
It's crazy, hearing all these stories, because it's just giving me flashbacks to, the way, Maven, the band, Don Jazzy, One Day Cole, Dr.
But there was no Maven then.
There was no Maven then. But then the way they came into the industry.
Dr. Seed was a member of that tribe. He was actually part of my artist. I was the manager for Tribesmen. I'd done Plenty Nonsense. And then they now said, oh, but we're a group. Oh, it's not just these 3 guys, which is LD, Kaboom, and Freestyle. Like they were a group. There's Dr. Sid, there's Timmy the Black One. There's Sasha. There's Blades, Two Shots, Double O. Who else? I'm missing someone. Anyway, I remember. Anyway, so they said, we're a group, and I paid for the video, the Plenty Nonsense video. Like I was working with Wasiu, so I had money. You understand? Anytime I'm in Nigeria, even though Percy is our manager, I don't do much work in Nigeria as Wasiu's manager. Anytime I come to Nigeria, it's either I'm doing their visas so that we can go
with the younger cats.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I'll go to the shows.
Where the money is.
Yeah, I'll go to where more of the legal and the money. So I'll go to the shows, and Percy, God bless him, would share me. He would give me salary as if I did any work. So me, I'll just be at
What
home.
am I doing with them?
I'll have like 200K back in what? 01? Yeah. Like I have 200K, and I'll be like, okay, so what do you want to do? They said, well, they want to do a video. I'm like, okay, cool. How much? I want to do a video with a crane. I'm like, how much is crane? The crane is 40,000 a day. Okay, yeah. Let's get the crane for 2 days. I'll be doing stuff like that. So the rest of the guys were like, we have day here. Sasha was like,
boss, what's going on?
Yeah, so I said, okay, if you guys do a song that has everybody on it, I'll make another video for you guys. And they said, okay, cool. I remember the day exactly. It was a Friday. It was the last Friday of the month, because I remember I left them in the studio. I went to Lagbaja. Lagbaja used to have last Friday. And then I came back. And Timmy the Black One, I don't know if he was the one that wrote the lyrics, but he was the one that did the Beremole, Baraje, Shake Baka, Scatter Nyash, off your shit. Yeah, so that's what they were doing. And LD had already started doing that. I'm like, okay, these people are really serious about
jumping.
this thing. So me and Kaboom, we went to watch Lagbaja. When we came back, we came back and met Dr. Succeed doing the, somebody don't let the dogs out. They were doing night vigil next door on a Friday, last Friday of the month. They were doing night vigil. So the sound was coming through so I remember we took mattress
to block the
acoustic. I remember it so clearly. So they did that, and then I shot the Oya video as well.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So once again, this is the Link Up on Echooroom with your host, Teddy A. If you'd love to be a part of the show, be a sponsor, make sure you send us an email at the details at the bottom of the screen. Now, you've been giving me this gist. You're taking me back, way back. Let's talk about the movies.
Okay.
Before we go back to the music.
Okay.
You had a partnership with Netflix.
Oh, this was like... Okay, so I'm originally a filmmaker. Like, my first degree is in film. I'm a documentary filmmaker.
So how did you get into that connection with Netflix? Yes.
Well, with Netflix, I have a distributor, right? And the distributor happened to be a guy that I'd known since we were in London. Okay, so there's a guy called Moses Babatokpe and another guy called... I'm trying to remember his name. Jeez, he really hate me if I don't remember his name. Kene, that's it. So Kene Nkparu and Moses Babatokpe used to work at the Odeon cinemas in the UK. So when we were doing Ben TV back in the early 2000s, like 2003, Kene had come to Ben TV to say, well, we're trying to see if we can be getting some Nigerian movies to be showing at the Odeon, in Mitcham or whatever, Streatham. That was the branch that they worked at. And he said, since we're a Nigerian-focused or African-focused station, it would be nice if we can publicize
our own content.
Yeah. So, I mean, we were just dishing out airtime. Like, okay, why don't you make it, come up with a 30-minute program? We that were looking for content anyway. So he came up with a 30-minute program where he'll be talking about the regular films that they play, like the in Nigeria called Film One.
Exactly.
So I'd been keeping in touch with Kene and Moses while they were doing the Film One for years and years and years. And Moses had always said to me that, Egbon, those your films that you made in the 90s. In fact, we actually played some of my films at the Odeon Cinema as part of their initiative then. So he's saying and then when Netflix came, I'd been saying to Moses for a long time that I have all these tapes and I want to do a documentary on Afrobeats and everything. He said, well, if you make it good enough, I'll show it to Netflix or I'll pitch it to Netflix. And if they like it, we can do an independent licensing deal. So it wasn't like I was waiting for Netflix to give me any money to make film. I like to own my shit anyway. So I said, I'll produce it, we'll license it, or I'll always own it, like
have
music.
the IP.
Own my masters.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. He pitched it to Netflix, and they didn't go for it at first. And then when I was editing, I sent them one clip of maybe, I think, when I was shooting, I did a video for Cass, his very first music video called Secret Lovers. That was Don Jazzy and JJC produced that song for him. And he wanted Don Jazzy to be in the video. So we shot that video in my office at Ben TV. And since then, I've been recording back behind the scene. So Don Jazzy is like a big baby, all the stuff that he does now. He used to do it back then. He'd just be dancing around and doing, So I have a lot of footage of Don Jazzy just being himself, wearing his do-rag, wearing his tracksuit. He liked tracksuit and do-rag. And I sent that little clip of Don Jazzy just messing around to Moses, and he sent it to Netflix and was like, that's Don Jazzy. Like, does he have more of this clip? I'm like, the whole thing is full of clips.
I have the catalog.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how, really, I think that's how
And
we
at the time,
we sold to Netflix. Yeah.
was the pay, was the pay good?
Well, I mean, it's okay. I'm not allowed to say because it's confidential, but it was okay. I wasn't mad at it because for me, with Netflix, I was trying to climb the ladder. I was trying to get to the point where they will offer me a Netflix original. You understand? Which means they will pay for it or they will commission me.
Right.
So I knew that I had to do at least maybe 2 or 3, before this whole Netflix thing now happened last year.
Let's talk about that, because I've had a few guests on my show here where, we hear about the monopoly and the gatekeeping that comes with, these deals. What's your take on, Netflix, Amazon, Disney, and all these other people? HBO coming in and then getting out.
Oh, well, I Netflix did not officially say they exited Nigeria.
Yeah, so what they do is you have to have a good...
Yeah, they stopped commissioning. They stopped doing originals. I mean, that's as far as I know or I heard. The general rumor is like they exited Nigeria. They pulled out. Maybe they did in a way, but that was just their first, the beginning of their pull out. But they stopped doing the original. So me that I'm trying to climb the ladder of doing independent licensing for maybe 1 or 2 projects, maybe 3 before I get. Now they've relegated me to the championship. You understand? From Division 1 to championship to that kind of thing. So back to your question about the monopoly, the way I see it, I call them the Nollywood hustlers. And it's not like they're doing anything illegal but they're always jumping in front of, like,
queue.
Oh, Awani, whatever is going to happen. Yeah, we.
First to know.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Netflix themselves, they bought into that shit. They fell for the song and dance. They fell for the hype. When you hear, they're doing one reception at the private residence of the deputy ambassador of one country, it don't in
law to go down.
When you see all those pictures, for me, I look at it as a song and dance.
Yeah.
So if Netflix, as big as they are, I personally believe that they didn't do enough or they didn't do a good job in their due diligence. I think they came to Nigeria and they were dazzled by the stars and the star-studded, and then they doled out a lot of money. Those people put out stupid money. You understand? I mean, there's nothing wrong with putting out a lot of money, but if it was just funneled to just a select few, you're heading for disaster.
Yeah.
You understand? Because Netflix, their business model is metrics. It has to translate to numbers.
To numbers, yes.
If Netflix is spending 10 million, for them to get any ROI on that 10 million, because they don't sell the film and collect gate fee, it will have to be, say, 500,000 new, or maybe 50,000, or whatever the metrics, it has to be a number of new subscribers. And those subscribers have to stay on for
Paying
at least 2 years. Paying subscribers.
Yeah.
They came to Nigeria where 30 people are using one login.
One password.
They don't know, like Nigeria will just circumvent anything, you understand? And then a lot of the money that they were putting on for these producers, they were not seeing the returns. And I think they just made an executive decision somewhere. Just just cut it. Yeah.
Cut the funding, reduce the funding.
So basically it affected, I mean, there's a lady that I saw on YouTube recently that was talking about the hurt and the trauma and the depression that she went to after Netflix had even put her independent film on coming soon on the, and on the day that it was supposed to go live, it didn't go live. And then they just yanked it because it got muddled up with the whole, we're not commissioning, we're not doing anything. I'm like, that person got it worse than I did.
Yeah.
Because
actually
me,
went through the whole process.
The whole thing. And, for me, we had an agreement to do a season 2, which I already filmed for a whole year, edited for a whole year, in between me doing my normal work and you understand. And at the end of the day, they did not even, we had what they call a first look agreement. You understand? Before you take it to anybody else, it's us that written in the contract. And at the end of the day, they didn't even take a look at it.
Wow.
So what am I going to do? Am I going to now say no? You are going to, there's nothing. It's. I remember when I made that announcement, a lot of people were calling me and DMing me and talking to me as if somebody died. Like, sorry, we heard that. I'm like, Netflix, and I still own my shit. Like I own my masters.
Yeah.
You understand? I can take it somewhere else.
Yeah.
So don't. It's business, it's business. Coming back to your question, I don't think there was a monopoly, but I think there were like some people who put themselves in front of Netflix as the we are the ones that you should be talking to. And, God bless them. I'm not against anybody making money. So if they collect money from Netflix and whatever, God bless them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't say I would have done the same, but if they had come to me,
You probably do the same.
Yeah, me too. I'll give them a budget, and But the thing is, with me, the budget will always show in the film. Like there's something called production value. You would know, you guesstimate how much people spend on these kind of films. Yeah,
yes.
And then Netflix, they started putting out the same type of films. You understand?
There's
like
no
all
variety.
Yeah. And I just knew that this thing was.
So you got tired of all the war films, the epic tales. I was in a few of them, so
I mean, as much as those films are interesting, is that all we have to offer as African filmmakers?
Storytellers.
Do you know what I mean? Like, why would every story now be about? Why would every story now be in the bush? You understand? Like, I mean, I'm not saying they are bad movies, but I'm just like, Nigeria, when somebody does something, everybody will now, be doing, why,
Why just one?
Yeah, put this thing out to wonderful independent producers and directors. This new cat's coming in right now. There's a girl, I don't know if you know, there's a series on Amazon called Grind by this girl called Roberta Orioma. She's, the female directors are killing it. Kemi Adetiba, Jade Oshibe, the female,
yes.
Like I would have loved for Netflix to even put out money.
Commission those people.
Like
make it a level playing field for other directors and producers to also earn and showcase what they have.
That's why I said Netflix fell for the song and dance. You understand? They thought Nollywood was like Hollywood. Because Hollywood's about stars as well. But if you make a star-studded film in Hollywood, the story will still be, everything will still... But sometimes in Nollywood, all they just want to do is just pack a lot of people and say, oh, this is a star-studded film. I'm like, that's what killed the old Nollywood. Those days where you see one jacket or you see one VHS cover and you see like 10, I call them 10 heads. You see... one main actor and then head, and and then maybe one babalawo ritualist in the back. Me, I grew up in Nigeria in the 70s. I wasn't born in Nigeria, but I grew up in Nigeria. 70s was kick-ass films in the 70s. Like, I have a film that I wrote based in the 70s, actually in 1977, about the first socialite cocaine baron in Nigeria. Lived 3 doors away from us.
Wow.
Yeah, this
in the
guy.
UK?
No, in Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah, in Surulere. Like he used to live in the boys' quarters. Him and his wife and 3 children. I mean, his children were my friends.
Cocaine baron.
Yeah, but when he got into that whole cocaine, this guy just went ballistic. The landlord of the whole building, like a 3-story building and a BQ, the landlord used to live on the top of the 3-story building. So he bought a house somewhere, he could do whatever. He moved from the BQ, not even into like one or 2 bedroom flats, as in to climb the charts. He moved straight to the landlord. He started shaving his hair, all bald, and he started wearing white. White shirt, white cap, white shoes. One day, like, he had one Benz and one Toyota Cressida and one minivan, all white, just entered the house. Everything was just all white.
Crazy.
And people used to say, the man did the money ritual and everything. My mom was like, Kilonje, money ritual. There's no money ritual. It was from my mom's mouth that I heard the word cocaine. My mom was like, which one's cocaine? And then I realized that white was actually a nod to the white stuff. So I wrote a film about him because this was 1977, I was 9 years old. I wanted to be that guy. I wanted to be a cocaine baron when I was younger.
Wow.
I was like, that guy is who I want to be. Look at him coming out sparkling white, and he was like big chain. So my own, my own view of how I saw him is what I made into a film. You understand? So those are the kind of films that we just need to be making diverse films, not just somebody who make one film in the bush and everybody now go to the bush because maybe that's the one that's selling.
That's selling.
Yeah, or they do one film in, there's another type of film that they do in Lagos where I've been living in Lagos, well, I won't say all my life, but I grew up in Lagos and I've been living in Lagos now for the past 10, 11 years. You know all those Lagos people that have English names with the hyphen, my name is Tunde.
Like the British.
Tunde
Fernandez, Hastrop.
All those kind of things. I don't know any of those people. And they seem to be making film about them. You understand? I mean, I'm not saying they don't exist, but when I see those films, I'm like, copy.
No, because one thing about us is we're very elitist.
Very much so. I know that.
Very elitist.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
So if you don't have, my name is Tunde Fernandez.
No, you have to have a hyphen. Fernandez Cole.
Fernandez Cole.
Yeah.
And I'm like, was your father a slave owner?
Or are they from Portugal?
From Portugal. Why do you have, I mean,
those kind of films, But me, I think that's where, coming back to Netflix, I think that's where Netflix got it wrong. Netflix thought that those films that they were commissioning will have a global impact. You know how people say, everybody in the world is watching our films. The people that are watching our films are Nigerians living all over the world.
But don't you also think that's also a positive effect of what Afrobeat has done globally?
I'll tell you one thing. If we are really serious about, for me, music and film, that's my thing. I think I'm an expert in music score, soundtrack to fit a movie. I'm very good at it. I mean, if I don't mind saying it myself. And this Afrobeat story that we're talking about, I'm the only one that can tell this story. Like, I'm not even being fictitious. I'm the only one that can tell the story in its entirety. You know why? Because I was the only one that was pushing the culture, working in Afrobeats in Nigeria, in the UK, and in the US at the same time.
In an era.
Yeah, I spent a good chunk of my life between, say, 2002 and 2007. Basically just living on a plane. Like every 2 weeks. I don't spend my family. I mean, I moved my family to Atlanta. So I'll go there while I'm in Atlanta with family. I'll be doing stuff in Atlanta, and then back to London while I'm doing TV. And no, this was even after Wasu. And then I'll go to Nigeria with Tribesmen, So when you say Afrobeats and film, that's me right there. That's right down my street. But maybe they didn't see the foresight.
Yeah, because, like you rightly said, you come into Nigeria as a foreigner. The first question you ask is, who are the people? Or you Google.
You Google. Yeah, and the people that have the most social media presence.
Exactly.
You understand? That's who you gravitate towards.
Remember you mentioned something. You said when you were in London or in the UK, your friend said they wanted to start something with Film One or something called Film One.
Oh, yeah.
In Nigeria.
Yeah, Kene and Moses, yeah.
So, imagine, living in America, maybe you have a friend who is close to someone in Netflix. The person comes to you and says, hey, I would love to open a franchise or have, this same thing in Africa. You're like, okay, do you know people? Say, yeah, I know Davido. I know this person. I know that person. That was, to me, the same situation. So the person comes to Africa and then they're like, oh, yeah, so you know this. And they're like, oh, yeah, I'm the go-to guy. I'm the go-to woman. I mean, don't you think so?
For me, yeah, fine. I mean, if you go to a new territory, you want to see, you need a guide, right? Even if you go into the bush, I think we're talking about too much bush now.
Into the bush.
But if you go into the bush, some people, they're like trackers. Like they only have one stick. But those guys, they know how to use that stick to to know when it just rained, or maybe one snake just passed, or maybe a lion, like all those trackers, they so you need a guide. But at the same time, you too enter the bush yourself and and I think that's the one thing that they didn't do.
Awesome.
And that's what really
awesome. So I want us to talk about another aspect of, your career. You're also a lawyer.
Yes.
So how has your background as a lawyer helped shape your, structure? Because you said you worked with the band, you worked with Don Jazzy, you worked with Kwam One. So I feel like working with these people, you said Tribesmen, working with these people, you need to have the right structure.
Oh, yeah.
Because if these guys didn't have the right structure,
there was no structure in Nigeria. So you can imagine when I accepted to be Wasiu's manager, and then I said I will give him a contract. He was like, yeah. He's like,
he's educated, right?
Yeah. So, in fact, I remember the day he signed the contract. We were at a show at Brixton Recreation Center, not Brixton not the Brixton O2. There's it's a basketball court, like a community center, and I had already printed out the contract. Everything. Me, I'm being the lawyer. I had everything. So he was backstage while, so I went to him and said, Alhaji, this is the contract, it's for 2 years. He was like, yeah. Where do I sign?
He's ready.
Like, I mean, whatever it is, give it to me, I'll sign it. And then it's not that he's like irresponsible signing it, but he knew that he wanted me. You understand?
The right person to work with.
Yeah, so give me the contract, let me sign it. Even when the contract expired, when I tried to say, okay, I've done my 2 years, we had just come back from a tour, I was like, Alhaji, I want to go out. He said, no, Ayo. You understand? Like, he didn't, and I just continued. Like, I was like, I really couldn't now say, no, I'm going. Not that I had somewhere else to go, but I just wanted to go do something else. And that's how I ended up being like 4.5 years. Everything now started to overlap. So to this structure that you're talking about, so imagine me giving the king of Fuji music a contract to sign. Those guys don't sign any contract. Like, you agree with a Fuji musician now that, okay, we're going to do this thing for 5K, 10K or whatever. And he goes outside and somebody offers him 15K. He will come back inside and say, well, you see that thing, we're not doing it again. Why not? I say, well, they will first of all try to be nice. But it's like you're not getting me. That's when we move into what I call the laye phase. So when Omoni Fuji tells you, laye mi onigba, that's it. Whether you have signed contract or not.
They don't
when
care.
Omoni Fuji says laye, he's not going to do that thing. You understand? So for me to come into that era, to come into that industry where people don't formalize things, with Tribesmen, I never had a contract. With D'banj and Don Jazzy, this is actually a funny story. D'banj pulled, they were in my office, I had a little home office, so he pulled out, we have those printers where you feed the paper on the back in those days, those Epson printer. Yeah. So he just pulled out one paper. He said, Papa, we're going to sign for life. No. He wrote contract at the top of the page. He signed. He said, Don Jazzy, come and sign your own. Don Jazzy was in my living room. I have an acoustic bass, so he was playing my acoustic bass, So it was like, sign your own where like all those, like they were trying to, but no contract. I think the only person I had a contract with that I managed was probably Muna.
Wait, so you're saying you never had a contract with Don Jazzy or D'banj?
No. We just kicked it for 2 years. I was going to give them 2 years of my life, 2004 to 2006, from No Long Thing to Why Me.
Wow.
After that, and they wanted to go to Nigeria, and I think they made the best decision.
Yes, they did.
I wanted to go to the States. I wanted to, in fact, there was a time when I wanted to get a visa for D'banj to come with us to go to the States. But, it didn't work out. But that was my thing. Like, I wanted to go to the States and start getting into, because I lived in Atlanta. I was, I knew them, not knew them, but I knew how to get to them. Ludacris, Outkast.
You wanted to get into that industry.
I wanted to get into that, which they eventually kind of like did later.
Yeah.
But they wanted to go to Nigeria because they felt Nigeria was where
they needed to.
Everything.
With the catalyst.
And I wasn't ready to go to Nigeria at that time, like 2006.
Ready.
I'd been to Nigeria during my Fuji years, and I was building something else,
Outside.
in the States. And I mean, thank God they stuck to their guns and they decided to go to Nigeria, and we were like, all right, peace. But we were cool. You understand? I just wasn't their manager anymore. But then again, the 2 years that I wanted to spend with them had already kind of like, come to. We did No Long Thing. We did videos. We did. I think the last. When was the first Big Brother? Big Brother Naija.
The one I was on.
No.
Was 2018.
No.
That's Big Brother Africa.
I'm talking Ebuka.
That's
the very
06.
first one. Is it 06? Yeah, 06. Yeah.
06.
So I remember they performed at the final day, and that was kind of like the last kind of thing that So and then Why Me, because the director that directed Why Me was the one that did the opening credits montage for my program. So, and it's also the one that did Soli Baba Day. Yeah. So that was when the green screen and so that was kind of like my So from No Long Thing to Why Me.
I used to love Soli.
Soli Baba, that video. Yeah, that video was great. Yeah.
Man, the
I'm trying to remember his name. Gecko.
The melody.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the fact that you mentioned, the movements that you had to make, for the band and Don Jazzy, because I think maybe if you had stayed on or signed a contract, maybe it may have not worked out.
Or maybe I'll still be doing music. I wouldn't have done something else. I mean, you see, the thing about we never know is, what if that night that JJC kicked them out of the band and they didn't perform, I'm sure they will have gone on to become superstars that they eventually did become. But who knows?
Who knows?
Do you know what I mean?
Who knows?
So who knows if that night we didn't have time for one song or two songs and they didn't perform. And because what happened was, when the band performed, JJC had to eat humble pie. So when it was time for him to perform, because they performed before, JJC was to perform, and then it will be maintained, and it will be Idris. So in that order to the headliner. He had to call them back, because by the time JJC went on, the band had raised the tempo, not tempo, what's the
energy, the aura, everything,
to a certain level, so that when JJC now came, he was doing it back, it wasn't resonating like it usually does, because the band had raised the bar. Is it somebody that they kicked out of there? He had to call them back.
That's crazy.
He had to call the band to come back on stage and still perform with them. And they did a couple of performances after, before everything kind of like fizzled out.
Nice.
So,
it's crazy.
It's a matter of who knows. If I had stayed on with them, if I had come to Nigeria, like, in fact, for like 4 to 6 months after we and them parted ways, people used to call me from brands, like from Guinness, and say, there's a guy here called Sunday Are that says he's the band manager. We don't know him, or it's you that we know. I said, yeah, Sunday Are is the manager now that I'm
familiar with.
Yeah, I'm in London and everything. So a lot of people used to do that a lot. You understand? And then my PA at the time, Bankuli. Yeah. So Bankuli now.
So Bankuli was your PA?
Yes. Bankuli was my PA for. He left in 06. He actually went with them. He went with them because when we were doing our stuff in London, when we were all living in London, Bankuli was in Lagos. So Bankuli R70. So Bankuli was my eyes and ears. So anytime they go to Lagos, Bankuli will now sort of like take care of them. Until Bankuli himself started to come to London, in 04. So it was a situation where he had gotten used to them like that. So he went with them, and it all worked out. I mean, I'm glad it all worked out, because if I had been proven right, who knows if we had gone to America, who knows, maybe we would have even become big. But we don't know.
Never know.
But they made the right decision to go to Nigeria, and it worked out for them.
Never know. We never know. If you would love to be a part of this show, Link Up on Echooroom with your host, Teddy A, make sure you send us an email at the details at the bottom of the screen. Mr. Ayo Shonaiya, this is our gist longo.
I'm telling you.
He's
I don't
going.
even- He's going.
He's going.
In fact, this anyway.
I want to talk about something before, I ask you one or two more questions before I
Okay.
let you go.
Okay.
Where Afrobeat is right now,
Mm-hmm.
is it where you always thought about it, being? Because some people say, yeah, even though we have the money right now, we have the exposure, now we have a lot of, major artists that are running to the US.
Running.
They are running to the US to go stay there so they can, absorb themselves into that culture and they get exposed to these other things, drug abuse,
Oh, drug abuse. Drug
yeah.
abuse is not just in the US. Drug abuse is in Lekki here. Drug abuse. Don't let us even go in there. Continue what you're saying. Drug abuse. You think US is drug
La
abuse?
cocaína.
No.
Don't they like you?
I think there's more drugs in Lekki than like in America. Okay, I've been in the music business in America as well. I've been around like top artists and stuff like that. Like I've been in a situation where we've been in the studio. I won't say which artist, but we've gone into a studio. And when when I go here, oh, do you want water and everything? They'll be like, oh, what do you want? Do you want water? Do you want juice? Do you want some cocaine? Do you want, like they say it like it's part of it's like condiments. Do you want some water? Do you want some juice? Or you want some cocaine?
That's crazy.
You understand? So I'm not saying it's not happening in America, but don't attribute just drug use
That's
in America
crazy.
alone. No. In this Lagos where we did so, there's a film that I've been writing for 10 years. It's actually a series. It's called Married Men. Married Men is about 4 married men in this Lagos, Nigeria. Actually, there's 5 different types of married men. Okay, so let me give you the 5 different married men.
Listen to this.
Let's take number 5 first.
5.
Okay, let's take it number 5. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's take 5 first. So number 5 is the good husband. Is the one that, his wife doesn't cheat, goes to work, comes back home, breadwinner, loves his wife, go to church. Is the God-fearing. You know that God-fearing that's always in the women's list. God-fearing. That's a God-fearing guy.
1.
So that's the 5th guy. So we'll put him aside. The film is not about him. The film is about the other 4. So, so there's the married guy that cheats, whatever cheat means, but he sees people outside his marriage, right? So this guy will sleep with anybody. He's the kind of guy that a good night out for him is hanging out with the boys, having some pepper soup, drinking a whole bottle of whiskey, and carry woman.
4.
You understand? So no, that's the one guy.
That's the one guy, okay.
Yeah, that's the one guy. The second guy is the lover boy. The lover boy is the one that is married, but he has one girlfriend. He feels that he's.
So what's the people saying the number 4, number 3?
No. We've not gotten number 4 yet. Number 5 is the God-fearing. That one is at home.
Okay.
So number 1, I've come back to number 1. So number 1 is the guy that sleeps with everybody, right?
Okay. 1.
Everything, anything that moves. Is that guy that his eye is always rolling. Whatever. Number 2 is the guy that's a lover boy. He has his wife
girlfriend.
and he has one girlfriend, and he feels it's better than the guy that sleeps
It's
around.
okay.
You understand? He's in love with his girlfriend. You understand? So
But
that's
still
number
has
2.
a wife.
Yeah, but he still has a wife. Number 3 is the guy who's not really married, but is about to. So it's like, it's either his girlfriend is pregnant and there's pressure that you have to marry him. You have to marry this girl. You can't just, you can't have children out of wedlock. And he's going to get married. They have a date. You understand? He's not married yet, but he thinks that anything he does before he marries
Gets married.
is still game. You understand?
That's the third guy.
I'm not cheating now. At least I wasn't married. When I get married, gone. Like he still lives with his wife. He lives with his girlfriend who's going to become his wife. So he's the kind of guy that he's not like he's going around looking for women to sleep with. But if the opportunity comes, as in like if he, like let's say for example, he goes to Abuja to go and sign one deal, and one madam is like, Teddy, look at you, like with your beard like this, like. He will knock it, right? Like if he's exactly, you understand. So he's thinking he would do it like as a means to an end. So he in his head, it is not cheating. His career progression. And then the 4th guy is the guy.
So all these guys are married men.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The title is Married Men. So the 4th guy is the guy that either married for status or marry for shield. You understand? Usually those kind of guys are like on the download, they're gay, you understand? But they'll marry and even go as far as having children. You understand? No, everywhere, but Lekoyi, I'm telling you, I've been doing research for 10 years. In fact, since 2013. That's 12 years.
That's about 10 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's this Lagos where we did, so it's like there's a lot going on.
I've had a few guests on.
If you know any other type of married men from the 1 to 4, please tell me. Because
I'm the
everything
host.
is revolving.
I'm the show host.
Once you have multiple women, whether you are Jen or J or you are doing it wantonly, whether you are doing it anyhowly, it's still, there's a guy that sleeps with many women. There's a guy that sleeps with one woman. Yeah. There's a guy that is not technically married, but he feels that he's safe because he's about to get married. And there's one that, exactly. Yeah. And then the fifth guy is the real guy.
So when are you looking to drop this film?
Well, I was working my way up with Netflix before they pulled the plug. So
yeah, but
hopefully, I mean, I'm not even, you see, the kind of belief that I have, I actually believe that I'm still going to work with Netflix. It's just not going to be from Niger.
I would say, you shouldn't just wait on Netflix.
Let me tell you something. This season 2 cost me, I don't want to say the figure, but cost me a lot of money in US dollars. You understand? To the point where my wife was really mad at me. Like, why would I put all these eggs in the Netflix basket? You understand? Like, right now I'm exploring YouTube. Like, YouTube is, I mean, you guys are on YouTube and YouTube is like, first of all, you can see the metrics. You understand? You can see your progression. The back end. You understand? That's one thing Netflix will never give you. Netflix, whether it's for negotiating purposes or whatever, they will never tell you your figures. They will just probably say, oh, it's doing well or it's not doing well. But you don't know if they're saying it because when it comes to renewal time, they want to downbid you or whatever. So, but so I'm exploring the whole YouTube thing as well, like starting a YouTube channel. I don't know if I want to do podcasts, but I just want to. So what I'm doing now is all my programs back then that I have I'm just putting it on the YouTube channel just for nostalgia and people to just reminisce.
I think I was going to talk about the YouTube thing.
Yeah,
I think it's an opportunity for you to tap into.
That
side.
But for me to do anything, I have to educate myself. So since like maybe April, May of 2024. I've been really on top of this YouTube thing. I've been funny enough, you educate yourself about YouTube on YouTube. You understand? All this algorithm, all this trend, all these keywords, the movement, the whatever. I've just been, so I just launched my own YouTube channel, R70 Television, where you can just put, because I like the word television. Because, so all my television programs, I'm putting it on there. And then we're going to be making, when I made the documentary, it was limited to 40 minutes per episodes, and I have 12 episodes. Meanwhile, I have over 600 hours of tape. So with YouTube, I'm telling you, I can be dropping stuff twice a week.
Exactly.
And I'll have footage for the next 2 years.
Consistently.
You understand? So it gives me the opportunity to expand. So instead of me telling you the story of Afrobeats, I'm showing you. Like I say it without any sense of maybe I'm boasting or whatever it is. I'm the only one that can tell this Afrobeat story. Properly. And what I'm seeing is a lot of people are using Afrobeats for their own personal branding. Do you know what I mean? People are now.
How do you feel about that?
Again, I'm not standing in anybody's way of making an income and commerce, and I'm not trying to take anybody's daily bread of the, take food out of their children's mouth. So everybody, Afrobeats is for everybody. You understand? But when they tell the story, they tell it, I call it the Whiskey Davido era. They tell the story from like 2010 and 2011, as if everything that we did before that time did not count. Like there are some people who really don't know Idris Abdul Karim other than the guy that is just causing wahala. Idris Abdul Karim is the king. Maybe I'm being a bit too fanboy, but Idris Abdul Karim with the song Shakomo is the reason why we're all here.
Yeah, true.
Shakomo is the song that created this genre that we are all enjoying. True. Because, honorable mention to Junior and Pretty. They did the first rap, whatever. But so did Shino Peters. Shino Peters did the first rap, really, Yoruba rap. Anyway, that's another story. But Shakomo is the song that it had everything. It had rap, it had melody, it had sample. Shakomo is like the grandson or the grandchild of Liberian Girl by Michael Jackson, which was remixed. That beat was remixed by Jermaine Dupri for MC Light.
Yeah. Dun,
Yeah,
that's true.
And then, guess who wrote the hook to Shakomo? Nope. What's your guess? Nope. Tetula was not even on Shakomo.
Was it you?
No. That would be crazy. Tetula joined them later. They had two songs. They had Sade and Shakomo, Idris and Eddie Remedy. Remedies were just two before, yeah. Shakomo, the hook. Mi o Shakomo, mi o dancing gi.
That sounds like a Fuji.
Kind of like, yeah, but the person that wrote those lyrics is Jazzman Olofin.
Jazzman Olofin. Okay.
Even though he was not originally
credited. Rest in peace.
No. Jazzman Olofin is not dead, though.
Oh, he's not dead?
You are talking about OJB.
Oh, okay.
You are talking about Raise the Roof.
Okay.
Shine you, fine girl. Yeah.
Jasmine, okay, where they wear this thing for neck?
Ileke, yeah, Jazzman Olofin, yeah. He was a member of, what's their group? Him and Lexi Do. Ex-Appeal. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This is...
You see, that's what I'm saying. You see this story about Afrobeats. It didn't start with Whiskey, though. Much respect. They took it to another level. Whiskey Davido era from like 2010, 2011. Even, God bless his soul, Da Green. Da Green was 09. You know Da Green, I messed up on Da Green. They brought Da Green to me to sign him back in, was it 08 or 07? I remember in the hotel, I used to live in a hotel in Ikeja. Like, I never got a flat or anything. I was just living in a hotel because I didn't like all that, go and buy fuel for generator. Let me just live in a hotel. They clean my room every day. I go out and do my business. Destiny, who was my PA before Bankuli, no, who was my PA after Bankuli, brought Da Green to me. He brought him to in fact, I didn't even know who he was to the point where he said, okay, I'm okay. So I'm like, no. If you're bringing somebody, let me come and meet you downstairs. It was that kind of thing. So we met at the swimming pool and we talked, and Da Green was like, they played me the demo and really I wasn't, maybe it's the song or the rough demo, I wasn't feeling it. So I passed on him. Like I wasn't feeling it. And then later Da Green, he did Kondo with SARS. That's one of my little bros as well. SARS on the beat, man. That's like, for me, it's Afrobeat producers.
Yeah.
It's Don Jazzy.
Yeah.
It's SARS.
Yeah.
And right now it's Prime.
Prime.
Do you want me to tell you the Prime story? You know Prime? P Prime.
Yeah, P Prime.
Okay, so P Prime attended SARS Academy. SARS Academy is a sort of like a production
thingy.
Camp.
Production camp, yeah.
Yeah.
For producers.
For producers. So SARS and one of my partners, Ire Dumare, they started SARS Academy. And I was about to go to law school in Nigeria then because I had to get licensed here. I wanted to get called to the bar in Nigeria. So I had to block out the whole year to go and do this.
Just lock it in.
Yeah. So while we were doing that, we were talking about, by the time I came back from law school, they had already done the first and the second SARS Academy. In fact, I remember when I was in law school, I came to give a talk to the producers. Anyway, so P Prime was kind of like the outstanding student. So after SARS Academy, they used to just bring him to our office. We had an office in Magodo. So we had like a little storeroom that we turned into an office because that office was so small and it's soundproofed and everything. So if there's no light, he opens the door. So while he's doing his, so I'll be going back and forth from the office and I'm like, this boy that's, this Prime was like probably 16 years old then, wearing oversized t-shirts. So I went up to him and I said, I like your hand, so I talked to him a bit and I said, do you know about sampling? He said, yeah, we touched on it during SARS Academy and, sampling and then also the 5-beat pattern. So the 5-beat pattern is that ko, which is the backbone, really, of Afrobeats, and it's from Ghana. Anyway, so...
Like a metronome.
Yeah. But it's called the pan logo. It's called the clave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he said, not really. And then Prime said one thing that made me realize that he was going to be great. I knew it. I mean, I know I messed up with Dagreen, but I'm a very good, I have a probably 90% success rate in knowing who's going to be a star. And he said something to me. He said, can you show me? Like, not many youngins nowadays will be humble enough to say, okay, this thing, I don't know about it, but show me. You understand? And I said, okay, so this boy wants to learn. So I sat with him and we started, I will give Prime homework. I said, by the time I come back tomorrow, I'm going to give you a song. I gave him, the first song I gave him was No Diggity by, what's that Terry Riley group? Rex and Effects. No Diggity. I came back the next day. He had mashed up that beat. Like the whole thing. That was, and then when the song goes, and then Toddy Riley will now come. Yeah. He just flipped it. He just went. I was like, whoa. Like we had to get people in, like, who's going to jump on this beat and everything. And I just knew he was going to be great because he understood music at 16 years old.
Sound.
Like proper. Anyway, this same thing, I had stopped filming my documentary then. This was around 2018, 2019. I had to whip up my mobile phone and record the whole session. So this thing I'm telling you about, this story, I have it on video as well.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be in the
You have the same
2.
thing on video?
Yeah. I interviewed him as well. We reminisced about it now.
Wow.
No, Prime, that's my... I mean, I won't say it's my child, but it was like my child. I would come into the studio, instead of me being in the law office, I'll go and sit with him. You understand? Like, I produced 4 songs with Prime. We co-produced it, me and Prime. Like, I will hum it. I would like, do this, like he will now play it and then, and I'm so glad that he has gotten to where, I mean, his catalog right now, his credits.
Sick.
MMS, last song.
Yeah, sick.
When I heard that, I didn't even know it was him. And then Ashake was doing, oh, you're alone. I'm like, oh, this song is... And then when I heard his call sign or whatever it is, I'm like, I felt so... Yeah, I felt so proud.
Yeah,
it's like the same
a father.
It's like the same way I felt about SARS. Because that's what I used to give SARS, not homework, but I'll tell him, this is what I want. Do something like this. Do it like this and everything. Same thing with Don Jazzy, but not like I was teaching Don Jazzy how to produce, but I know how he gets his inspiration. Like, we like to watch cartoons. Like Don Jazzy, we watch cartoon. There's one particular cartoon, this Tom and Jerry or Jekyll and Hyde. There's an episode that I remember that we watched together. I remember it so clearly. It's about the crows going into a cornfield and eating the corn. Like they were now doing it in unison. They were eating the corn. So they were going, like they were doing, Now, I've never talked to him about this thing before. But you see that, and then they were eating, I have a it was like like I know how. I've seen him sit down and produce.
That's crazy.
Like the band will not have lyrics yet. He'll just be yeah, he'll be, like, don't just say that. Yeah, ginger. That kind of, and then later he will now come up. That's how we came up with where do you my fuck? Yeah.
Man, that song.
Yeah. Oh my fuck. Yeah.
That song did a lot to me when I was younger. Oh my God. That song. Jesus Christ.
Let me tell you, the should I say the father or the Afrobeats.
Yeah.
Don Jazzy.
The core.
Like for me, I would say that's the guy.
Shout out to Don
because
Jazzy.
the people before him, like OJB Jezreel, Omololu, Nelson Brown, they specialize in their, like Nelson Brown was the producer for Plantation Boys.
Okay. The sound.
Yeah. LD was the producer for Tribesmen. And then Remedies, they had different producers, like, Omololu was the one that did Mio Shakomo. He added the talking drums to it and everything. But when Don Jazzy came out with JJC and that sound started to take shape.
Yeah.
For me, that is the beginning of Afrobeats. It's from the fingers of Don Jazzy.
Yeah. Shout out to Don Jazzy, man.
Shout out. No, let me tell you something. Anytime I see those guys and they're doing whatever they're doing now, I always feel proud.
Yeah.
I always feel proud. Like, I would, I was part of that shit.
We need to bring Mr. Ayo Shonaiya. We need to bring Big Bro back to the show, because this has been an awesome episode, and I feel like he has a lot more to say.
We're just even getting started. For me, I'm not going to be doing too many podcasts, but I'll do a couple, and then I'll just go back to my
your thing,
to my hide, and just be looking at everybody, because for me, this is the industry.
Yeah,
this is me.
So before we go, finally,
yes sir,
where do you see Afrobeat in the next 2 years?
I think Afrobeat is life. I'm going to do a PhD in Afrobeats. So everything I'm doing now, in terms of interviews, in terms of even speaking to you now, even get everything from me, will be part of a PhD program in maybe in the next couple of years.
PhD.
Yeah. Like I believe I'm supremely qualified to do this thing. You understand? And it has to be told. The story has to be told right, not from the perspective of what I call personal branding. Like don't joke with Afrobeats. Do you know what I mean? It's the most dynamic music genre to ever come out of Africa. And you asking me where do I see Afrobeats? Afrobeats is not about Afrobeats to the world now. It's Afrobeats forever. I believe Afrobeats is going to last forever. It's not going to be a fad. It's not going to be like, oh, reggaeton. People are not listening to reggaeton anymore. People are not. No, Afrobeats is always, because you know what? Afrobeats is our music that traveled and then came back.
Transcended.
And then we now took it back again.
Yeah.
So it's like bounce, bounce, bounce. You understand? So to answer your question, it's not Afrobeats to the world anymore. It's Afrobeats forever.
Afrobeats forever. And on that note, we have come to the end of this wonderful episode with Mr. Ayo Shonaiya. I mean, it's been awesome. AKA Babani.
Actually, I was going to say AKA Ayo Shonaiya. I don't have I need a stage name.
I mean, for me, I call you one of the pioneers,
Actually, I would take pioneer.
Yeah,
I'm not an artist, but pioneer in the sense of
ushering in.
Yeah, we're talking Obi Asika, we're talking Jimmy Jat, we're talking Kenny and D1, we're talking all those, like produce. Afrobeat is not just about the artists. Right down to music video directors,
DJs,
DJs, media, JAJ. A lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people contributed to this thing that we're doing now. So it's not.
And I feel like they shouldn't be, looked down upon. Like, there was just
down,
them.
Okay, they don't even see them.
It was just them. No,
they don't even see them.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. Like,
that's crazy.
What's this boy that does the streaming? That's he doesn't know Runtown. Like Runtown is not even.
Wait, who said so? Pella.
Yeah, I mean they made up later and he did.
It better be him just talking just for clicks.
No. Some people don't know Runtown. Some people don't know why these Gen Z people they don't know what anything that happened 6 weeks ago. They don't know. They don't know. Some people don't know YC.
Seriki.
So, you are even getting deeper. Seriki Omowo. Seriki is the one that actually first did iPhone 1, iPhone 2. These are lyricists. Like, I mean, if it's not for Nice that just refused to go. Nice in bound follow. You get, like, some of them will not even remember Nice. I'm telling you.
He's coming on the show real soon too.
Oh, that's my brother Adigun. I love him so much.
Shout out to Reminisce as well.
Oh yeah, Remy. You see all this, my people. I was the one that took Reminisce to London for the first time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I just love them. That Yoruba rap from that ID Kabasa, YBNL. That's where
CDQ. Yeah. So man. I mean, it's been awesome talking to Mr. Ayo. We have to. And I know you guys are looking forward to it. So if you'd love to be a part of the show, like I said, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at Echo, and that's ECHOOROOM _ on Instagram. And follow us on YouTube as well to watch everything link up over there. I remain your host, Teddy A. I'll see you same time, same place. Afrobeat forever. Peace.
Hi, my name is Ayo Shonaiya. This is The Link Up with Teddy A. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.